Hello artists. So one thing that I do deal with every single week is quite a lot of students tend to message me asking me kind of questions and advice. How do I kind of navigate my decisions? I'm so lost, I feel so lost, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to decide. And I kind of ask a series of questions, or I go through a whole kind of thing with that individual, kind of understanding what their context is and then helping them decide whether an art degree or heading in that creative direction is right for them. So if you've been following me for a while, some of the information in this video you will have heard already from me. There are things that I repeat because I really do believe in what I'm saying, but I wanted to kind of compile all of this information into one video. For anyone Instagramming me, DMing me on Instagram, or commenting kind of feeling lost, I will send them here first, and if there's anything in this video which I haven't covered and which you have more questions about, that's when you can kind of ask me more specific questions on Instagram or in the comment section below. So in this video, I'm going to go through, first of all, is kind of what kind of questions do you need to ask yourself and kind of be honest with yourself when it comes to choosing a kind of creative degree, such as a fine art degree. If you're unsure, if you're lost, if you're just feeling like a normal lost young person, which many of us are feeling like at that kind of younger age, I know that most of my audience are kind of in the younger age bracket. I'll basically try to give you some tips and things to kind of help you navigate through that decision-making process. I will also speak about the reality of doing a fine art degree, what it will give you, what it will not give you. I'm speaking from a UK context. I went to the University of the Arts London, so they are considered kind of top tier when it comes to the arts education. And then finally, we're gonna kind of, I guess, summarize but conclude on really, is it specifically right for you as an individual to do? So this is when this kind of self-awareness, self-reflection, thinking, reflecting, and asking those questions which help you navigate these decisions. So let's get started. All of the kind of timestamps, I'm going to label them throughout the video. So if there is something which is not relevant to you, you can skip to the next section. And yeah, so before doing any degree, you really need to kind of check with yourself whether you are doing that degree for the right reason. So if you are going in the creative direction and you're looking to do a fine art degree, it should be because this is a subject you feel motivated, and I know the word is overused, but passionate about, or you really like doing that thing that you want to go into. Any subject this applies to. You shouldn't be going into a fine art degree or an art degree because it's just something that you've been kind of good at, or it's easy and you're just like, let me just choose it, because that's really not going to get you anywhere in life. And bear in mind, this is £27,000 you're investing at minimum in terms of UK fees. So, you might want to think twice about that decision if you're going in for the wrong reasons. A good way to check yourself to see if you actually do like the subject that you're going into, kind of question when it comes to, okay, how lazy are you when it comes to the subject? What I find myself doing with things that I don't like doing, obviously you become lazy because you don't want to do that thing. So if it's kind of art, and when you're doing art, you find yourself being lazy and putting off work, there's two reasons that is going to be. It's number one is you just don't like the subject and you're lazy because you don't want to do it. Or number two is because when you're producing work, you have some kind of personal insecurity or kind of confidence problems when it comes to kind of making or developing that process, which is what you should probably deal with first before kind of moving forwards. So if you've got this far in the video, I'm assuming that you have an inclination towards some kind of creative pathway when it comes to your degree, particularly an art degree. So as I said, this is a £27,000 investment at minimum. So you really want to think about, first of all, what are you expecting to get out of the degree? This could be different for everyone. So some people might already have some kind of career pathways in mind which require a degree to do. So that could be kind of your reasoning, and you maybe might not be expecting specific things out of the degree. You just want to do that degree, done, dusted, move on. But others might want to actually learn something, have some kind of tangible skill by the end of the degree. And as I said later on in the video, I will be kind of telling you the reality of doing the fine art degree, but a good thing to do is really question, okay, if I'm going to do this fine art or art degree or whatever it is, what am I expecting to learn? What am I expecting to get out of the degree? Write those things down, because when it comes to choosing the university, choosing the course that you are going to invest that money into, the decision process becomes much easier if you know what kind of you're expecting from the course, or what you personally want as an individual from the course. Just a little side note here. If while you're listening to all of this, you just feel genuinely so lost, don't worry. It's normal to feel lost when you're young. I still feel lost with a lot of the decisions I've made and the decisions I'm making. There's not really such thing as making the perfect decision at all times. You never know what the perfect decision is. So don't worry about feeling lost. The best thing you can do for yourself is become as informed as you can about the things that you're interested in. And there's so much information out there now on the internet, whether that be through YouTube, platforms such as YouTube, like you are here, or if you want to go somewhere more course or skill-based, such as Skillshare. Excellent platforms out there to learn lots of different things, try lots of different things. So if you are feeling a bit lost, sometimes taking that gap year or taking some time to try out different things to really understand what kind of gets you going, what ignites that spark in you towards whatever subject you might think you're interested in, you will start feeling a little bit less lost when you start trying more things. So just a little side note there. Also, you're going to do so much better at something and be so much more productive at something that you truly want to do, rather than what other people think is good for you. You need to really think about that kind of sentence right there. So let's talk about the reality of doing a fine art degree for that small teeny weeny price of £27,000. So as I mentioned earlier, I did a BA in painting at University of the Arts London. It was at the Wimbledon campus, but the painting degree I think has now moved to Camberwell. So for those who know me, I'm very straight about what my degree did offer me I did get from my degree, and what I didn't get from my degree. Let's begin with the positives. So obviously, going into a degree, you're going to be given hopefully an amazing or decent studio space. Usually first year, the studio space is not as good as the second and third, but at least in second and third year, you will have a nice kind of studio space to work in. It's a creative environment with other kind of like-minded individuals around you. There are some excellent tutors about who are there to who are really enthusiastic, obviously, about creativity, about art. And some of them can be specifically very relevant to your practice. So, having that kind of interaction and advice, and if you're good at bloody asking straightforward questions and getting information out of people, it can be a really fantastic way for you to develop as an independent artist. On top of that, universities have the dosh. So you're gonna have access to amazing facilities and equipment that you might not have ever touched in your entire life. So one of the things I wish I did more was use and learn as much of that stuff that your university can rent out to you or give you workshops for, to learn how to use the cutting machines, the printing machines, all the expensive DSLR equipment they have from their camera renting stuff. Like, there's a lot of skill you can learn if you manage your time well and are just a really productive individual. And it's those skills that you can actually come out of the degree with that can actually help you in the real world. But now let's have some real talk here. So kind of covered a summary of the positives, but the reality is, in terms of practical technique, so obviously I did a painting BA at supposedly one of the top universities in the world when it comes to the arts. And when it came to painting, I didn't have a single lesson on how to paint, how to develop painting in a kind of technical or practical way, which I found personally very disappointing, because I was uninformed about how basically modern courses have completely let go of technique. No one cares about technique anymore. And the only way I learned about painting was kind of targeting specific tutors who I knew were painters and kind of being very direct with them about what I wanted to learn and kind of drawing that information out of them. So, and bear in mind as well, not every tutor is also going to be useful to you, because even though I was doing a painting BA, not all of the tutors who were teaching us could paint. So they were not all useful for my personal individual goals. A fine art course also doesn't really have any structure. You're kind of just given your space and basically they're just like work, which is great for artistic freedom. It has its ups and downs, obviously, where if you are someone who is kind of disciplined and can direct themselves and has the ability to kind of learn and I guess be productive as an individual, and you have that confidence in yourself and your practice, this can be amazing for you. But if you cannot navigate freedom, you can come out of a fine art degree basically having learnt nothing with, a 30 grand debt and having felt like you've been scammed because you haven't been taught anything in terms of a practical or a technical sense. So this is why to kind of talk about or ask yourself about expectations, and also kind of expose yourself to questions and mindsets which you need to go into these courses into, because sometimes the opportunities are there, but you need to know how to grab them and make use of them. So here I am, basically. This is what my channel is for. Make sure you subscribe so you get all the best questions and kind of advice going into a fine art degree and how you can make the most of your time there. One thing that also comes up again and again and again and again, question I'm asked all the time is career paths. Okay, I'm doing a fine art degree, I'm doing some kind of art degree. What opportunities do I have for jobs post-degree? And there really isn't a black and white answer to this, because when it comes to what you're doing on your degree, which is obviously practicing as an artist, and having a space to do that in, no one's gonna really pay you to do that when you come out of your fine art degree. It's extremely rare for any student to come out of a fine art degree and have some form of a contract with a gallery who's gonna pay them to make work and then sell their work and put on exhibitions for them. I don't know really anyone coming out, like new students coming out of a degree and having this. It's just extremely rare. So that's not kind of a viable option. One of the reasons I actually made this channel and I'm trying to work really hard on social media is because I think the internet is the most practical way for an artist to make money, because you can kind of control the hard work, you can control how much content you put out. And if you're really good, and on top of that, you kind of do some research and reading and learn about marketing, and then invest some of the money you're saving from whatever creative side jobs, hustles, whatever you want to call it, invest some money into marketing, you can get really far now with not that much money. So this is one thing kind of I'm doing. This is a journey I'm on. So once again, subscribe if you'd like to follow a journey, and it could be a blueprint that you use for yourself in the future. But as for the jobs, people can have different reasons to do a degree. So for example, one option is you can obviously do a teacher's conversion course post fine art degree and then go and teach. Would I ever do this? No, hell no. But some people want to teach, and that's absolutely fine. Obviously, I'm saying the internet is the most practical way. You could get some kind of entry-level job or have the skills that you kind of built up during university, whether that be kind of filming, editing, photography, what other stuff, some kind of printing, woodworks, metalworks. Like, there really are creative opportunities out there, but you have to obviously have the skills and kind of put them in some sort of formal portfolio to present to companies or people or individuals to then sell yourself and sell your services. So focus on the skill elements when it comes to jobs. It's just try and get them skills from stuff in university. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm not sure how clear I was there. So let's summarize what we've talked about. If anything, grab your pencil or pen and paper now, because write this down, if anything, the summary at the end, unless you want to watch my video again and hear my deep, apparently calming voice. Thank you for people who are complimenting my voice. But let's let's summarize. First of all, question yourself. Do you really want to go in this direction? Is it something you're really passionate about? Are you lazy when it comes to the subject? Question, bit of self-reflection. This might kind of put you onto the next stage, which is listing your expectations. What do you expect to get out of the fine art degree? What do you personally want? You have to make sure that what you're expecting to get out of that degree is kind of at least somewhat matched, and you're going to be satisfied going into the degree. And as I said, mindset is important when you go in because it can make a big difference. Next is informing yourself as well as you can about what you are going into, whether that be watching content like my own or speaking to students, stalking them on social media, finding out what university they go to and being like, hey, what's your course like? Or going like a normal person to an open day. Hopefully we will be able to do that soon with the current situation. But yeah, talk to people, inform yourself about the courses that you are choosing. Finally, understand that there is no straightforward career path coming out of a fine art degree. Many creative people do many different things in their lifetime, many different jobs, many different things, many different side hustles, whatever you want to call it. As I said, the most important thing you want to think about during your degree is what actual skills are you learning. As I said, you can kind of have all these professionals around you with knowledge about the equipment, facilities that you have around you that you can use. Pick up those skills, and those skills will be very helpful to you post-degree when you are trying to sell your services to, individuals or companies. And remember my genius advice, which is start sooner rather than later when it comes to trying to build an audience on the internet, because genuinely, I think it's the most practical way to make money as an artist. Build that genuine audience of people who are really interested in what you are doing, and then you will be able to sell prints, artwork, and they will genuinely want to support you. You're not going to be trying to scam money out of anyone. I hope this is where this channel / whatever else I'm doing is going to get me somewhere. But as I said, feel free to follow my journey. It can be a blueprint for you as you are doing your degree. So I do hope that this video has given those who are feeling lost at least a little bit of clarity. As I said, if there's anything that hasn't been covered in this video, feel free to either comment below or drop me a DM on Instagram. Feel free to follow, drop me a subscription as well, because once again, I'm on my own kind of artistic journey, and I'm going to document and try and give the best advice of what works and what doesn't work when it comes to growing an audience online as an artist. Also, I just got back to the UK. As you can see, this lighting and stuff, I'm setting up a new art studio, so my content production is about to go through the roof. So it's a really good time to subscribe. Yeah, how many times do I have to ask everyone to subscribe? I need to kind of calm down now. I wish you all the best for your kind of own artistic objectives, careers, whatever is the least awkward thing to say. Here is my awkward goodbye.